so much for staying tuned to Love 101, the family station. It's now 9 a.m. and a half. And now online with me today, I have the amazing, the beautiful Dr. Sarah Grace Lewis. Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. I'm good. Happy International Women's Day to you.
Thank you
And
very much.
it's going great and will go great today. Thank you also for joining me. When we were trying to find persons to come on the show, you were one of the first persons that popped in my mind because I was actually scrolling through Instagram and I saw your profile. I was like, Dr. Sarah. Yeah, man, Dr. Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me today, and it's my pleasure speaking to you today. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Sarah Grace Lewis is an obstetrician and also a gynecologist. You also were a former Miss Jamaica.
hmm
Oh no, now you know. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, what inspired you to become a doctor that caters to women's health and wellness?
Okay, so thanks again for having me.
Problem.
That's a very interesting question because, as with most things in my life, things are decided for me by
Ah,
God Himself. So honestly, doctor medicine wasn't on my radar at all. When I went to college, I
mhm.
enjoyed business subjects actually coming out of high school, and I thought I wanted to be an accountant.
Ah,
And in my penultimate year of college, I did an internship due to procrastination at the
mhm.
hospital nearby the college I went to.
Right.
And I remember God speaking to me clearly in that moment that I was going to be an obstetrician. At that point, I didn't even know how much I wasn't even into the whole medicine thing. I didn't even know obstetrics and gynecology was linked.
Ah,
But I went ahead in obedience, went to med school, and even God didn't continue speaking to me on the topic at all. And
mhm.
throughout that time, I would have been exposed to many, many subspecialties. But when I went into the area of women's health, something ignited within me and just continued to grow. So I followed along that line, and I've never regretted it a day since.
Amazing. Because I was actually watching a video on the Instagram, one of the pinned videos on the Instagram, and you said, listen, medicine wasn't on my list, you know. I was
Mm-mm, not at all.
this
God is
wasn't
so funny, he's so full of jokes.
listen, God is hilarious. Trust me. A whole comedian up there in heaven. But anyway, how has the importance of women's health evolved over the years?
You know what? I think for the most part, comparatively, women have always had relatively good health seeking behavior. The thing is, though, throughout the years, we've been taking on a lot more and a lot more. So, in the business space, in the academic space, in the family space, we're trying to balance a lot more. And I think our health kind of fell down in the totem pole in what is important
Yeah.
over the years. However, it's very important to know that, women's health can be thought of and is thought by some people to be the cornerstone of family health overall. Because if a woman therefore has good health seeking behavior, it trickles down to the health of the children and the family and
Yeah.
everything. So there have been a big, big movement, and I'm so happy to be a part of it, of women that are just like, hey, all right, you can't pour from an empty cup. Now is the time. You're going to have to invest in yourself. And it doesn't take much, there are some little simple things that you can do to just get started, to pour into yourself so you can be your very best self for everything that you want to do.
Exactly. Because when it starts from the head, then it trickles down to the child,
Definitely.
child's child.
Definitely.
It just continues like a tradition.
Right.
Your mom did it, all right, you know what? I'm gonna do it because it's
Yes.
important, you know?
Yes.
How can a woman not feel ashamed when it comes to her natural feminine body function?
Okay, and that's an integral part of the whole women's health and women's wellness movement. And it's really just demystifying some of the things that have happened. Over the years, we've become very taboo about saying things, speaking about your period, speaking about your reproductive health, infertility, things that women's issues that all of us face, but never speak about it with each other. And it's really just about starting the discussion. So, well, how would I encourage women to just not be ashamed? It's just like speak. I promise you, if you share with a trusted friend, they're going to be like, really, I'm going through that too. And you
Mhm.
guys can help each other, support each other to find the appropriate avenues to get the help that you need. But when it becomes just like everything in life, sin everything. When you keep it in the dark,
Yeah,
you can't do anything about it. So literally, I just encourage us to, break down all the barriers, all the cultural barriers, all the things that say, listen, this is the body God give me. me. I'm proud of it. I love it. But this is the situation I'm being faced with, and get the help that you need.
You're right. So what I'm pulling from you now is that you're saying that once you speak, you'll realize that you're not alone.
Never alone. Ever,
Exa-
ever, ever.
Exactly. I spoke to Julie Mango just now, and she was saying that when you speak, you're not alone. You're literally not alone. So just find somebody to talk to, speak about it, find somebody to
Yes.
confide in, and trust me, you'll realize that you are not alone. Please share a call to action about paying attention to women's health, or women's health rather.
No problem. All right. So this is honestly, I'm just so happy for this platform to be able to speak to women candidly like this. I just want to encourage every single woman. I know what it is like to have the kids and the husband and the family members and the work and everything. But I will reiterate, the empty cup thing, it's totally impossible. You cannot be your very best self for your children, nor your family, nor your workplace if you're not taking care of yourself. So literally, what I encourage most women to do, first of all, to approach their health in a holistic way, mind, body, and soul. So I'm a doctor, so you may think I'm only speaking about the medical stuff, but we
Mhm.
can start with the medical stuff. Start to
Right.
do some things to improve your health right now. Schedule your annual well woman visit. You don't have to be sick to go to the doctor. We actually want you to come well so you can remain well and be well for a very long time.
Right.
Get your pap smears done, depending on your age, your mammograms done, your colonoscopies done. I want you to journey with a doctor who would be responsible for your health. Come in, Carrie. You hear my daughter here in the background.
Hey guys.
um with making sure that your best reproductive health and best health, but you can't negate your mind. I know you spoke with Julie Mango earlier. I don't know if you guys touched on that, the mental health stuff and also the spiritual aspect. It's just a pleasure to be here with Love 101, because if you negate the spiritual aspect of things and spend so much time taking care of your body and all of these things are going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So you need to have a holistic approach to your health. You need to take some time to be with the Lord, find out what He wants to do in your life, what the next steps are. Be very intentional about pouring into yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically.
A holistic approach. Ladies, a holistic mind, body, and soul. Thank you so much, Dr. Lewis, for joining me today. It's my pleasure, absolute pleasure, talking to you, and also happy International Women's Day to you and Karis.
Thank you so much.
To Karis, hello.
Hi, oh boy, you're here begging to be in.
Hi, Karis. Hey. She's like, who that? Who you?
Oh gosh.
Have an amazing day, Dr. Lewis. Stay safe, and I do hope that your day is amazing. All right.
Thank you. God bless.
And God
Bye.
bless you. God bless you. That was Dr. Sara Lawrence Lewis. Oh my God. I'm just so happy that I got the opportunity to speak to her today. And for all the other ladies on the platform or on the panel, next I'm going to be talking to Dr. Joan Pinkney. And we here at Love 101, I feel like Dr. Joan needs no introduction. We know who Dr. Joan is. She's coming to let us know about the counseling side of things. So after this break, we'll come back with Dr. Joan Pinkney.
Let's get digital. Get online this March 15. File and pay your final income tax return for 2022 and estimated return for 2023. There are so many options. JamaicaTax.gov.jm, direct funds transfer, NCB online banking, and Scotia online and mobile app. Pay your taxes the digital way. All returns must be filed online and on time. Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
This is the Love FM and the CLS Foundation shares reflections of Bishop the Honorable Dr. Carmen Loy Stewart, OJ, OD, JP, who passed away on International Women's Day, March 8, 2020. Let's listen.
I remember attending a service with our late bishop, and after the service, they asked for ministers and bishop to meet for the repast. So I said to my bishop, I'll have somebody to attend to you while you are there, because they had just asked for those persons to come to the repast. And Bishop looked at me as if to say, "You're going with me?" And then she grabbed my hand and said, "You're going inside there with me." Oh, such fun memory. God bless you all.
Reflecting this International Women's Day on Bishop the Honorable Dr. Carmen Loy Stewart, OJ, OD, JP.
I've got love in my heart and
Another World of Worship Wednesday is coming your way inside Alive, 1 to 5, March 8th, packed with worship, fun, and information. Stick around for the brain testing meant to size at 1:45. Prayer blast will come your way at 2 o'clock. More prayer, more power. 2:15 we feature Mercy Chinwo Blessed as our worship artist of the day. At 3 p.m. inside the Drama House, we brace for season 3 of Making Lemonade with a continued rerun of season 2. All this and more will come your way inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This World of Worship Wednesday, March 8th, with yours truly, Sara, and the chirpy one on the family station, Love 101.
give him praise.
Wayne, you know Flo Yardan Road now faster than ever?
Yeah, my brethren just get it.
Him love it, though.
Especially the 200 megabit speed and getting a Samsung tablet or phone for $999 plus GCT. You know he got the phone?
So, you coming home now?
Right after I pass the board.
There's never been a better time to get the invaluable value of Flo Yarden Road. Sign up and get fiber fast internet at home, unlimited social, YouTube, talk and text with just $4,999 plus GCT. And save big on a Samsung phone or a tablet. Conditions apply.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley.
I'm Jakal.
I'm Victor.
I'm Chantel.
And we are
The Pulse Podcast.
You can find us every Saturday at 7 p.m. on Love 101 FM JA's YouTube channel.
Yes, 7 to 8 p.m. And ensure you follow us on social media, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. At The Pulse Podcast JA.
The Pulse Podcast, your weekly source of authentic, Jamaican, faith-based, creative content and edutainment.
About culture, creative expressions, and games. This is the Pulse Podcast.
And he knows my name. Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today, 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. It's the Telephone Counseling and Prayer Ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. A reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And we're now back inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer. And today, online, I have the anchor leg of this conversation today, Phenomenal Women Speak. Today, I'm going to be talking to none other than, drumroll please, everybody knows who she is, Dr. Joan Pinkney. Hello, Dr. Joan, how are you?
Hi there, I'm well, thank you, Dr. Jakal.
I
call you
receive
doctor because I tell you, man,
I receive it.
Some waves there that are very impressive, so I congratulate
thank you. Thank you so much. And you look very nice today. Happy International Women's
Thank
Day.
you very much. It's supposed to purple that we would wear, right? Now, so,
Yeah,
or,
purple or pink or something like that.
something like that. So,
Yeah, man, but the pearl is nice, and the jacket thing, and yeah, man, you look nice. Today's your birthday. Yeah, trick me.
no, it's just a
Mm,
celebration of life, generally.
that's right. You look very nice. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you very
So
much.
today we're going to be talking to Dr. Joan Pinkney, a counseling psychologist. All right, so Dr. Joan, for those who don't know quickly who a counseling psychologist is, could you just break it down to us this morning?
Okay, so a counseling psychologist is one of the various positions or areas of the profession of the helping profession. And so what we strive to do is to, apart from just offer counseling and to guide persons along the way, that we're able to, from a therapeutic perspective, apply various therapies, various kinds of strategies that have been researched and proven to help persons in their daily functioning. And so it ranges from helping the person understand how to manage their time to understanding mental disorders. And so we help persons generally to face their problems, understanding the issues that surround it, what may have caused it, and how they can navigate ahead, how they can live. Sometimes they have to live with the situation, but sometimes they can put strategies in place to eliminate. That's really just to help you to become the best person that you can from a psychological perspective. And of course, that captures social issues, spiritual issues, and so on.
Amazing, amazing. Why is therapy why is therapy so stigmatized in the Black community? What do you think?
Well, there is a feeling that having been through some of the things that we've been through as Blacks, the slavery, the discrimination, and of course, sadly, that still exists.
Yeah.
There's a sense in which Blacks like to think that they need to push through, and as a result of pushing through, it has its inner strength, of course, its resilience that you have to push forward toward. And so with that, if you have to seek help to be resilient, it kind of connotes that you are weak. And so the Black person doesn't want to be associated because already you're stigmatized as being less than. And so there's the sense in which you kind of want to push yourself forward so that you are viewed, so that you are embraced. But you start to embrace yourself in the first instance to show that you are able, to show that you can, to show that you don't need anybody outside of your race, and because you need to push forward in that strength. Yeah.
Yes. Could you let our listeners know why is therapy important in this day and age?
It is important because it helps, as I mentioned earlier, what we actually do. It helps you as an individual to come to grips with what's going on with you. And it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have failed or you're failing, but it can also mean that you have failed and you're failing and you're going on the wrong path. And so because as psychologists, psychiatrists, and those others, we would have studied human behavior. We would have had an appreciation of things that can influence kind of whether voluntary or involuntary behavior. And so therapy helps you to face yourself, to face the situation, and to say, okay, so what can I do about these things that exist, whether it's things in the past and present. And so it gives you that strength as you seek to go forward, so that you're not doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Yeah, looking at what can work and what has worked, what have worked with other persons, and certainly coming up with sometimes your own strength and your own strategies, but under the guidance of someone who has studied psychology, how people think, why they behave the way they behave, and so on. Because there are some consistencies with behavior where you fall in terms of your developmental phase. So the teenagers typically behave this way. The 3-year-olds typically behave this way. And so with that knowledge from the counselor, you can be guided along the way, and various recommendations will be made based on the age range that you fall in. And of course, how you can navigate certainly within your own culture and within your own situation.
Yes, yes. Can you just go ahead to wrap up this segment by sharing an advice to women about seeking therapy, whether she is struggling with leadership, mental health, or her physical health?
Right. So we need to push ourselves out of feeling that mental health are for persons who are weak. Actually, the converse is true. Mental health is really for persons who are strong, who recognize, because it takes strength to be able to allow yourself to be vulnerable to someone else. And because a big part of therapy has to do with being vulnerable to someone, saying, this is what's going on, I don't know, I need your help, kind of thing. And it's okay, because what that does, it helps you to, as a person, to validate your feelings, validate your needs, so that you're not saying something going on wrong with me, or I'm going I'm really having these experiences. And so the counselor will help you to validate what it is that you're going through, help you to understand why you're going through those things, and also and if there are failures, help you to recognize that you're not a failure because you have failed. And so what you can do is that here's a path that we can create to go forward. Also, you having gained that strength and resilience, and you can help others. And a big part of therapy is to to help you to balance your life, balance your stress level, balance your the situation, so that you can live healthily, not just with what you eat and so on, but certainly how you think is very, very important, and that you can then be there for your children. I heard one of your previous guests said that if you don't have it, you can't give it, and that's so true. So if you are struggling in the dumps and you really don't know what to do, and you have children who are pulling at you, relationship issues that you are dealing with, and so on, if you don't have the wherewithal and the inner strength, you cannot make a positive impact. And so unfortunately, that's what we face, because persons don't have it to give, they're struggling, and persons are pulling on them. And because as women, we have all the different individual systems pulling at us at the same time. And sometimes it is overwhelming. And so don't think that if you come into therapy, there's something wrong with you, and you're weak and so on. The converse is true. All persons who come into counseling, particularly voluntary, is an indication of strength in the first instance, that you recognize that something is wrong and I need someone else to be there for me, so that you can gain the strength and you can be there for the various entities, if you will, that you need to be there for.
So what you're saying is that you're not alone. Just find somebody to talk to, and you're not alone. I see that being the trend of these conversations. You are not alone. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dr. Joan.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Have an international
Carry your handsome self.
Dr. Joan, don't do that. Thank you so much.
I didn't shoot. May I talk still?
I don't shoot. Thank you so much. Have an International Women's Day and have an amazing day. All right?
Thank you very much. And you take care as well.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for listening. That was Dr. Joan Pinkney. Let me just go ahead to say thanks to Dr. Elaine McCarthy, Juliet Bodley, Dr. Sara Grace Lewis, and Dr. Joan Pinkney for joining today and sharing nuggets about how to be and continue to become the phenomenal woman. All right, so that's the end of our Phenomenal Women Speak segment. And jumping right into something else right now, we're going to be talking to Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton. We're going to be talking about the renovations of the Cornwall Regional Hospital after this break. You're tuned to Love 101, the family station.
Here Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today, 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. It's the telephone counseling and prayer ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. A reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me. I've got love in my heart and
Another World of Worship Wednesday is coming your way inside Alive, 1 to 5, March 8th, packed with worship, fun, and information. Stick around for the brain testing meant to size at 1:45. Prayer Blast will come your way at 2 o'clock. More prayer, more power. 2:15 we feature Mercy Chinwo Blessed as our worship artist of the day. At 3 p.m. inside the Drama House, we brace for season 3 of Making Lemonade with the continued rerun of season 2. All this and more will come your way inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This World of Worship Wednesday, March 8th, with yours truly, Sara, and the chirpy one on the family station, Love 101.
give God some praise. Give him praise. Give him praise.
All right. Thank you for staying with me inside Love in the Morning. Today, we're going to be speaking with Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton, MP, Minister of Health and Wellness. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners. I'm fine, thank you.
Amazing. So today, Sir Tufton, we're going to be talking about the renovations and the redevelopment of the new state-of-the-art facility at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. So what can we expect once the new facility is completed?
Okay, so once the facility is completed, we expect to have a 430-bed modern facility with new operating theaters, new ward space, new administrative block, new outpatient clinic, new diagnostic equipment, over $2 billion worth of equipment, all new. More space because we've covered a number of the areas that were once exposed. So we have more workable space and an integrated system with the new Western Children and Adolescent Hospital, which is a new facility, 250 beds that's being built right beside the main Cornwall building, which would make it the highest concentration of hospital beds, not just in Jamaica, but in the region, over nearly 700 beds in total, a range of specialist services, and of course, the medical staff and equipment to go with that. So really, first world, we have a quality assurance entity out of the US that is helping to ensure quality standards are met and benchmark against first world standards. So I'm very encouraged in terms of what I think will happen. The challenge, of course, is just to get there, and that's
right.
That's where I think there's some disquiet, which I fully understand, and why we have to keep explaining and helping people to understand the journey.
Definitely, because with all things, persons are going to have questions and so forth. So it's good that you guys are explaining it, all the time, so that everybody can understand. Could you let me know also what is the aim of combining the Western Child and Adolescent Hospital and the Cornwall Regional Hospital?
Right. So the Western Children and Adolescent Hospital was initially conceived through a visit by former Prime Minister Portia Stimson Miller, who had gone to China during her tenure, started a conversation which I picked up on when I became Minister of Health a few years later, and concluded with an agreement for this new facility to be built. We started just prior to COVID, but then was disrupted by COVID. But they have since re-engaged. They're on the fourth floor, 4 of 8 floors, and it's in full throttle. A lot of construction taking place. It is children and adolescent, meaning up to 18 years, as opposed to a Bustamante, which is up to 12 years.
Right.
It will offer a range of things, specialist services for that age cohort, operating theaters, accommodation for doctors and nurses, and partially integrated into what Cornwall will offer, in that there are some shared services. So, for example, dietary will be shared. So one kitchen area to serve both, and 1 or 2 other areas, laundry and so on.
Right.
But essentially it's one campus, one health campus that will have all of these services. So just imagine what's happening there now.
Right.
Where we have 2 construction sites and an active hospital compound. It's very complicated.
Right.
It has to be done very meticulously to avoid things like noise pollution, dust pollution. It's one of a kind project. It has never been undertaken in this country in terms of all the activities taking place there. And so it does take time, because we have to be careful that we get it right while still ensuring that the patients are served. Because frankly speaking, we have nowhere else to carry them. There's no other alternative in the region for the types of services that are required and that are being provided by Cornwall Regional.
Yes. Totally understand what you're saying. What are some of the services that will be offered at the Cornwall Regional Hospital after everything is said and done?
Literally all the services that are offered at, say, a university hospital of the West Indies. So all these names, I'm not a clinician, so I can't even pronounce them.
Right. I get you.
Anything to do with all the major ailments, from cardiovascular care to diabetes to hypertension, cancers. We have the Linac machine there, which is a very highly specialized, sophisticated machine for radio and physio and chemotherapy care. Accident and emergency, of course, an expanded accident and emergency area. We are a high trauma society, whether it's road accidents or just violence of one form or another.
Right.
And that will be expanded. Operating theaters for all the various internal medicine procedures. So, you're really going to be seeing, psychiatry for mental health, all the critical services that a type A modern facility would offer. And then the very specialized cohort services for the 18 years and younger in the building, adjoining the Cornwall building. So all of that and more would be offered there, which with even more services than are being offered now. So it becomes a newer, modern, and with more services being offered.
Right. How significant will the new facility be for healthcare?
It's very significant. Our health system is a hub and spoke system, with different types of hospitals offering different services. The 3 big ones, meaning offering the most services, would be Cornwall, KPH, and UHWI. Once Cornwall had to be downsized because of the issues with the main building, 1 or 2 of the critical services had to be transferred to a KPH or UHWI, which of course puts strain on that process, not to mention the inconvenience of the people who live in those parts and have to travel. So if one, especially the big ones, get affected, it impacts all the others. So ideally, with Cornwall and the work we're doing there and the additional services to be offered, it will firstly be a lot more convenient for the people of Western Jamaica, not just St. James, to access care without traveling, state-of-the-art care. And then, of course, it allows those other institutions to do their jobs without the added pressure of people traveling. Plus, I would say it offers an opportunity for providing care to people who live outside of Jamaica.
Right.
Because, UHWI does provide services to some of the smaller islands. So people with particular needs fly into Kingston and get care. Cornwall would allow for that. And Cornwall probably even better than UHWI in the sense of closer to the airport and so on. So it really would, it's going to be a game changer in that regard. I wanted to say one thing around cost, because the big contention is how has the cost moved from one place to the next. 5 billion initially we had set up to 10 and a half on the building, another few billion on equipment. And I think it's important to clarify to the public that this is not a cost overrun, as some people are characterizing it. It really is a rescoping of the work. When we started on this journey, it was about a ventilation system, right? Air quality issue. And the issue was to fix that. I quickly realized that there are a lot more issues. And we brought in external help to assess the problem. And we found leaking roof, leaking pipes, the malfunction in electrical systems, mold in the walls, and all of those things. And we took the decision that we're just going to strip the building down to bare minimum, meaning take out everything, reinforce the structure, which we have done now, fix the external, so the look and feel of the building. If you go there now, you'll see that fixed, and redesign the entire hospital operation internally for ward space, operating theatre, etc., which is the final phase. So there has been a total rescoping of the work to provide and to build a new hospital, and that's exactly what we're doing. So it's not a cost overrun or a waste of. It really is. It really should be celebrated as a major development project that will eventually become a modern hospital for the people of the region. Granted, we have to wait a little longer, but it doesn't make sense putting on a bandage on the problem. Best we just fix it properly rather than to treat just with symptoms.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Tufton. Also, quickly before we go, could you let us know how long or the completion timeline of this project?
So the approach is to phase the reoccupation starting by the end of this year. We anticipate we should be able to start occupying, but it will continue over into the new year, next year, through to the end of next year, because of the work that has to be done. So you will see some occupation, and hopefully the latter part of this year, and then that will continue over time through to completion, depending on how fast the contractors can work. But we do anticipate, based on the schedule that we have, that we'll start seeing a phased in approach late the end of this year.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tufton, for taking the time out just to talk with us today, and just to let our listeners know what is happening over there at Cornwall, and also the services that are going to be offered, and so forth. So thank you, Sir Tufton, for joining, and I do hope that you'll have an amazing rest of your day. All right.
No, that's all. God bless.
All right, God bless. Stay safe. That was Dr. Christopher Tufton, the Minister of Health and Wellness here in Jamaica. Thank you guys so much for joining today. It was an amazing show. It was an information-packed show. Thank you again. Let me just say thanks to Dr. Elaine McCarthy, Juliet Bodley, aka Julie Mango, Dr. Sara Grace Lewis, and Dr. Joan Pinkney for joining today inside our Phenomenal Women Speak feature for today. Again, happy International Women's Day to all the women listening to Love 101, and also all the ladies here at Love 101. Happy International Women's Day. And you guys are special, and we appreciate you to the max. So thank you guys for joining. I just want to say that I just want to remind everybody rather that God is strategic in what he's doing, and we should always seek or always aim to just serving and obeying him, because he's a God that will never leave nor forsake. So let me just remind somebody today that God is he is all that and more, and I thank the Lord for what he has been doing and what he continues to do. So I'll see you tomorrow inside Love in the Morning. Tomorrow is Thursday, so it's Take Me Back Thursday. I'll see you inside Right. See you inside that show, and I'll just see you tomorrow. All right. So big up Latifah, my producer. We worked assiduously yesterday. But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have an amazing one. Stay safe. We do apologize for the late start of Something More, which is brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center, but we're going to be doing it now, and I do hope and pray that you'll be blessed by today's word. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.
It's not over till it's over. It ain't over yet. It's not over till it's over. And it ain't over yet. It's not over till it's over. And it ain't over.
Oh, that men would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful work toward the children of men. I hope I find you well as I greet you in his incomparable name and to say that Jesus Christ is Lord. Today we have a Power Pack program lined up for you. I don't want you to miss it. Don't you touch that dial. Stay tuned and be blessed.